This video is going to show you how to repair the driver's side switch control module on your driver's side seat on a C300 2008. The switch is located over here, and you basically simply control the switch movement by pushing the switch in the appropriate direction. So obviously the bottom part here is going to control the movement forward and back, while this upper part is going to control the movement of the backrest. Now, one part that I did is I left the door open for a while, which means that the computer is going to turn off the power supply to the switch. So consequently, nothing is moving right now. So let's first examine the switch, then I'll close the door and reopen it, and I'll kind of describe the problem here that I'm dealing with. So first of all, if I move back, listen really carefully, the sound that the switch makes clicking and making the contact. So that's the movement back. Now let's move it forward. Still sounds good, right? And now if I move the switch back, and this would control the backrest, listen to this part. So this works well. And now let's say that I'd want to adjust the backrest forward. Listen to this part. So this is where the problem is. So basically what I'm experiencing is the problem that I can control the switch moving back forward, but I cannot adjust the backrest except for in the direction leaning further back, which is obviously a problem. So let me close the door now, reopen it so the power gets reapplied to the switch, and I'll just demonstrate this really quickly for you. Okay, so I closed the door, reopened it. This now applied the power back to the seat. So if I push the switch back now or forward, obviously you can see I got the movement here. If I move, however, the backrest forward, I do not get any movement. If I would push it back, which I do not want to right now because I don't want the seat to lean further back until I get a replacement switch, then obviously that would work back. So that's the issue that I'm experiencing. The part I wanted to point out here, though, is this switch is a switch where you basically manually adjust through that switch the position of your seat. The version or the features of this C300 that I have does not have an option to actually have a memory for different drivers. So any adjustment that's made to the switch is basically to the seat is basically through this switch here. So what that means is that the switch is powering directly the motors that are underneath the seat here. And obviously, you know, in the back here for controlling the back rest adjustment. And there's no separate control module computer that would remember the position for driver number 1, driver number 2, or driver number 3. The replacement part number for the switch is A204 870 1658. It basically just has one connector on it with 12 pins. So the switch controls movement going back, forward, up in the back, down in the back, up in the front, down in the front, and then the backrest forward as well as back. So if you kind of look at this from a motor perspective, back and forth is going to be one motor, up and down in the front, second motor, third motor here, and then the fourth motor here, for a total of 8 different directions you can move the seat, or the combinations. So then if you look at kind of the connector here, what that implies is that at least 2 of the pins obviously are going to be power, plus and minus obviously, or plus and ground, and then the remaining 8 will be used for applying then the either positive or negative or reverse polarity to the motor that they control respectively. So obviously, since my seat moves back when I do this, but does not move forward. That just means that the actual motor is fine, but when I push the switch forward, the polarity is not, the reverse polarity to move the backrest forward is not applied. So I'm not suspecting the fuses in this particular case. But in any case, when you do a job like this, check the fuses first, so you don't do this entire operation. I did do that already. Some are located right here, and some are in the trunk of the vehicle. So in order to replace the switch, we're going to have to remove the seat. The seat is attached with 4 bolts, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. So when I move the seat back, you're going to see the front bolts that are holding the seat down. So there's one, and there's another one. In order to remove the bolt, you're going to need an external Torx socket. So this particular one is size E14. And I lifted the seat up a little bit, and obviously went back into completely extended position back to get access to this bolt here. So this is what the bolt looks like. So you can move the seat already a little bit. So we're going to do just the same now on the other side. That's the second bolt now. So this is what it looks like. Again, the top. In order to get the power back to the seat, I had to open and close the door. Moving into the forward position, I'm going to check in the back now what this looks like. I got access already. There you go. So I got access to the back 2 bolts. I don't need to go further. So those are the 2 bolts we're going to be working on next. Okay, so that's the back bolt, the first one. Again, same size. Here we go. And let's finish the remaining bolt. So here's the last bolt here. So kind of when you look at this now, this is what it looks like where we remove the bolts. And this should now give me access to the bottom of the seat. Alright, so if you look at this, I can just lift the seat now. Gotta be careful with the cables here. And let's see how we can get access to the switch now. So if you see the screws here, this one right here, the plastic that is holding the cover in the area where the switch is. So here's another view. So here's the switch, and this is where this plastic is being held. There's kind of another angle of what we're doing. And we'll have to figure out if there are any other screws. There we go. So this is the screw. Okay, now we're going to have to investigate what else is holding it. So the other part I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out here. There's one more screw hidden back here that's holding the plastic as well. So I'm trying to get this screw out kind of to give you the perspective. This is roughly in this area here. So if I look back here, this is where it is, so which is a really unfortunate spot. To remove those two bolts here and one here, just to give me access to that one screw so I can remove the plastic. It's unfortunately how much you have to take apart to So here's the first one, and the second one's here. Go. There you go. This gives me. This opens this up. That's the same on this side. There you go. Can
me push this plastic down, and that should allow me to lift this up. There you go. Give me just a little bit of extra space here. Right, so kind of have the seat slightly lifted now. Now I've got access to the bottom. Definitely not the best placement. It's even hard to focus the camera on this, what I'm doing here. There you go, it screws out. So I've bent this front plastic piece here that was hooked around here over, and that gave me now enough room to get to the switch, which you can see right here. So I'm gonna need both hands now to free up the switch. It's basically held in by clips like this one here. You see one here, there's one more on the back and one on the top. So I'm gonna disconnect the power as well, which is here, right here. So here's kind of the switch out now, out of its spot. I gotta just disconnect the connector now. So here comes the switch out now. Okay, so this is the original switch now. And then let's see, the part number should be matching my replacement. It's 701685. All right, so let's get the replacement in. Get the switch back in now. So first we're going to attach the connector to it. Get the switch in to the approximate area where it needs to be. Gotta get it to the connector. I believe the connector is seated. Can you tell based on where you are that it's seated well? There we go. Okay. So now we're going to just put the switch here into the correct area here. So I'm just simply pushing it into the right spot here. There you go. And it should clip in. Okay, and before I put everything together, I will want to just double check that this is working now. Okay, so let's see, I'm just really going to move it just a little bit. So this works, this works, this works, and this works now, both directions. Perfect, so I'm going to go back now and reattach the plastic. So this is where this screw was that was holding everything back. So let's try and get the plastic in now. Right, the front's in. Okay. Okay, so this is still working. This is the top of the two plastic screws. This one was the one that required most of the disassembly. Okay, that one's in. Let's do the bottom one of the two. So the bottom one's right here. So now we're gonna attach this back together. Open both of those up. Move the seat back down. Come over with this plastic piece. Same over here. Then we need to kind of go under with the view. You'll see kind of come in with here like this. And then here's one. We'll do the other one, which is over here. So underneath. So underneath, this looks kind of like this. You go in like this, and just come over here and come in with the bolt. And so let's do the bolt quickly. So that's one. Let's tighten this side as well. Now we're ready to lower the seat back into its position. So if you look underneath, the way the seat goes in is here, the bolts, and then it's got this little see if I can have it focus on this. This thing here has to drop into this hole over here, and there's obviously equivalent on the other side, so that makes sure that you're aligned exactly where you need to be. So I'm going to just drop this in and then attach the seat with the four bolts back into the bottom part of the chassis. There you go. So that's in, and now we're going to do the back first, since the seat is forward. So that's the first one. I'm going to tighten them in the end. So here's number 2. And tighten this one now. There you go. I'm going to do the front now. In order to put in the front bolts, we gotta move the seat back. I was just testing if everything was still operational. I'm going to lift it up as high as possible. There you go. So let's do the bolts. Here's the first one. Let's do the other side. So the other side. There we go. Tighten both sides. And then the last piece we got to do is put this seat belt piece on that we took off. I'm not certain if it has to be taken off or not, but I think it simplified the removal earlier. There you go. And this this completes the job. It was probably not by Mercedes protocol, but we got to it without having to disassemble more of the seat here. So thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful.